Good morning. I'm Dr. Tom Rivera. I'm a retired employee here at Cal State San Bernardino. And as a retired employee, we decided to do a project in partnership with the library, the Fall Library here at Cal State San Bernardino. The project is an oral history of South Colton, and we've been contacting various people in the community that have information about different areas of development as they were growing up in Colton. The committee started working with the project in November, and so far we've had 26 interviews that we've done. And this morning's interview is, our guest is Deacon Bob.
Amador.
I forgot your last name, Bob.
Amador.
Let me start over again with that one. Our guest this morning is Deacon Bob Amador. And Deacon Bob, it's very nice. Thank you for being with us this morning. Truly appreciate it, especially in such short notice that we only discussed our meeting last week.
Yes.
So thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome.
And also, part of our guest is also off to the side is Mr. Tony Vilches, who retired from Cal State San Bernardino after many, many years. So Tony, if we missed something on the history of our church, San Salvador, please chime in. All right? Before I get started, let me just give you a little preview. I know this, you know the history, but let me give you things that I learned as I was reading about getting ready for this interview.
Okay.
First of all, in 184 years ago, in 1830, Franciscans from Mission St. Gabriel built the first chapel in the San Bernardino Valley. It was considered an asistencia or a mission outpost, and the first pastor was appointed to the parish on September 15, 1852, 162 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The first settlers that arrived from New Mexico in 1842 celebrated their first Mass in 1843. The community of Aguamansa, La Placita, and Jurupa Rancho were combined into the township of San Salvador. Over the years, several chapels and church buildings were built and were destroyed either by flood or by fire. And the church's present location is located on the corner of 7th and L, and that was established in 1918.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had many priests since 1852. However, in 1937, we had a wonderful priest that came from Michoacan, Mexico, in 1937, and that was Father Jose Valencia,
Mm-hmm.
and that was during the Depression years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when things were not steady, when there was still a lot of not only economic changes, but also changes in our community. Father Valencia came in
Mm-hmm.
and did a tremendous job in organizing our church. Starting with Father Valencia, what do you remember about Father Valencia, Deacon Bob? What do you remember about Father Valencia as you were growing up in our parish of San Salvador?
Well, you know, we look up to Father Valencia. He's a lot because he one man that really helped the poor, helped a lot of people out there, and especially when around. What I liked about him is catechism time came. We're only about I forgot 7 years old, and every time you finish your lesson, he will come out of there anywhere and say, "Okay, boy." His favorite word was "boy." How many lessons you do today? 5, and he'll take a little coin purse. It had nothing but nickels. So every time you go up there, he'll give you some money. So you did 5 lessons, that's 25 cents. And then we get the money and we'll go across the street to the track, to A&W root beer stand and buy our drink to go up there. But he's very a strict priest that every time you wanted to talk to him, if you would tell him like, Father, you know, last night I did this, first thing he would say, "Incate, boy, incate." So you have to get down on your knees and okay now. So you don't want to say nothing because he'll get real strict. But he loved his people and everything. He was a very devoted man. But he always used to tell us, if I'm out here outside the church, I'm like you and I. But when I'm inside the church in the temple of the Lord, a different ballgame.
So he was really dedicated to Jesus
Dedicated.
Christ.
Oh, yeah, he was
And
very
making
well.
sure that the community,
Right.
as soon as they stepped into his house,
Right.
house of the Lord, that they would obey the
Right.
teachings of Jesus Christ.
Every Sunday after collection, he would take the money straight to the bishop in San Diego. Every Sunday llevaba el dinero.
So
The
he was
collection.
dedicated.
He was dedicated to the church.
Whatever was collected on that Sunday,
Right.
he would immediately take it to the
Mhm.
diocese in San Diego.
Right.
Yeah. Also, he had a wonderful reputation of the Easter services.
Mm-hmm.
The Easter services where we have Judas. Can you tell us a little bit about his Easter services?
Oh, there was every time Easter Sunday there was people will stay. It was packed, and out there by the parking lot he will burn Judas, and he would make a big celebration with there. Was a big piñata made out of Judas. It was a big Judas, and the kids would look for it because every time they would burn him and do everything else and break him, then you get a whole bunch of candy and everything else. And people always look forward. He was devoted to his Easter
Yeah.
Sunday. A man of God all the time. Even though he went to a lot of pain in his own country when he got executed back to our United States, but he was a devoted man of the Lord and everything else. Real strict.
Well, you mentioned Judas, the kind of a piñata of Judas.
Mhm.
Was it a huge piñata?
Oh yes, a
Huge,
big one.
huge
big
piñata,
one.
eh?
A
Uh-huh.
big picture of him standing up there with a
Uh-huh.
big, like a human being with everything else, his feet and everything else, and then a big hat. Yeah, every Sunday they had a different one.
So it was maybe twice as or three times as big as a human person.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
For
an
the
ugly
kids.
kind of a
See.
image. Piñata,
Yeah,
image.
right.
Yeah. Now, how would they exhibit Judas? How would they exhibit Judas out in the public for the parish? Would they string him between the church and across the street, the building?
Mm-hmm.
How would they hanging like a piñata?
They were one next to the building, a big old rope, and get it up there, and he will go up there, and first he will beat him up with a pirul. That's like a whip.
A little branch of
Yeah, a branch of a pirul
of
tree.
the pepper tree.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and he will use that up there, and it will be like he's beating him up and everything else because he did something evil, so he has got to pay for his evilness that he did to God. So that's what everybody else, and everybody knew it, especially all the devoted Catholics. They always remember that.
So before he was lifted
Mhm.
off the ground,
Mhm.
he would get a whipping by the priest,
Sí, después lo subían para arriba.
and then they would raise him up. And then what would happen? They'd swing him back and forth?
Yeah, they would. Then there was fireworks. Lo ponían como cohetes, a
Uh-huh.
bunch of fireworks in there. And then
So-
they light them up and that's it.
Oh, shucks, that must have been fun to
Yeah,
watch.
the kids.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, but I
Yeah,
still
they would
remember a
swing
little
him
bit.
back and forth, and then at one point, they would lower Judas
Yeah,
and light up the firecracker.
right.
And then they would lift him up again,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, you'd have a fireworks and you do away with Judas.
Right.
Yeah, you do away
That
with
was the
it.
end of our brother Judas.
Well, the other thing is that I do remember if we got too close to the piñata of Judas,
Mhm.
Father Valencia would come up with his little whip and just whip us
Yeah, he
across.
did. He was very strict with that thing.
Yeah.
He really did a lot for the. One thing about it, you learn to respect him.
Uh-huh.
He had his rules and regulations, and you don't go beyond the line.
Yeah, you mentioned that he had not a good time in Mexico.
Mhm.
What happened in Mexico that he came to the United States? Was that during the time of after the Mexican Revolution, when you had a conflict between the government and
Mhm.
the Catholic Church?
Right.
Was that during that time?
Yeah, because he got, well, I understand the story that tell us back, and they used to tell us up there, he really suffered a lot of pain, got really, he did a lot of, he paid for, and at that time, every priest was getting punished for every this and that. Once you're a priest, you got executed, some didn't escape, and he was one of he went through a lot of persecution from the people over there, so.
So that was the kind of a big conflict between the government and the church.
Yeah.
And the conflict rose out of the church didn't want to go along with the government,
Right.
the new government that was established after
Yeah.
the 1910
Right.
revolution. Frank, what was the name of that movement that happened in the 20s?
The Cristeros?
The Cristeros movement. The Cristeros movement. Do you have any background on that, Frank?
Not really.
Not at all.
No.
But it,
They recently made a movie about it, and it gives some of the basic elements of what happened back then. The government appropriated a lot of the church holdings, the properties, and forbade the practice of the religion within the borders of Mexico, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of priests had to flee in
So
order to
that's-
survive.
so that's possibly what happened with Father Valencia.
Yeah.
And then he came to Colton. And it was the best thing for Colton. It was the best thing.
One of the best things
What
for
was
him.
his relationship with the parishioners?
He had a beautiful, I think, what I know, a beautiful relationship with all the parishioners. Of course, some didn't care too much about him. Didn't care too much. When I say not personally, but the way he was real strict with the religion and everything else. And he had his ways with the people, good people, and all I guess. So that he was. If you did something to him, he will let you know.
Uh-huh.
But
It-
I think he was a man of God and his ways,
Uh-huh.
because he went through a lot of persecution in Mexico. So.
Yeah. So he practiced what he preached then.
Mhm.
He practiced
I
what
thought,
he
I
preached.
think.
Yeah. And that drew the membership in.
Mm-hmm.
They say, well, wait a minute, this
Mhm.
guy is serious about
Mhm.
what he wants to do here for us in
Right.
Colton. So therefore, the membership, they tell me that the membership during that time was very, very low.
Mm-hmm.
And then Father Valencia came in, and the membership improved tremendously.
Mhm. Yeah, he did.
Is this true, Tony? Is this right?
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That we had a low membership in the parish, and that with Father Valencia coming in and saying, hey, listen, guys, we need to do something about getting our church going. And he did increase the membership.
Right, he did.
Yeah. The other thing that I kind of heard was that he established a nice choir at the church, and he got the help of Margarita Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
Margarita Gomez, that he would kind of go to Margarita's house and say, Margarita, I need your help. I need for you to help establish a choir.
Mm-hmm.
And Margarita said, I don't know. And then he would not leave the house, Margarita's house. He'd stay in the porch until she agreed to
Right.
help establish the. Is that true, or?
Well, that's I actually couldn't tell too much, because what like Tony was saying, like we heard rumors and how this going. We're small, 7, 8 years old. We don't know what but our parents tell him. But I heard that he was really sometimes that the choirs were good and everything else. And I think Ms. Gomez was one of them. That I heard stories about them and everything else. Like, and then they had the Padillas, Tula Padilla, and everybody else. I guess they're all were involved in the choir and everything else.
And then they mentioned that there was a women's auxiliary that he started, a women auxiliary that he got all the women in the area, in the parish, and got them together and solicited their help.
Mhm.
Help me get this thing going again.
Mhm.
And the information tells us that he was able to get women
Mhm.
to help him build
Yeah.
not only
Yes.
membership,
Mhm.
but also some of the activities that they had at the church.
Mhm.
And you mentioned Tula Padilla. Who
Mhm.
were some of the other people that, you were a little kid, or maybe
Yeah.
not born yet, but you were a little.
Robleros, one of the biggest families too.
Uh-huh.
Robleros that I can think of.
Was
And,
that
the Lopez, family.
Savastro?
Salvador Robles, and Jose Lopez. Matter of fact, they're neighbors. They have a house in the back, so they were. All the neighborhood were always involved in it. 'Cause Father Valencia was a good motivator.
Uh-huh.
He will motivate a lot of you. Get you
Uh-huh.
what you can't, he'll get it out of you.
And if not, he'll beat you with a little,
Te dejaba
with a
agarraba la
little whip.
barriga. But he will be good for that stuff.
And then I understand that he also was very supportive and was provided help for people that were passing through.
Mhm.
That were during the 30s. We had a lot of people that were unemployed
Mhm.
that hop on the train, because
Mhm.
right there in Colton we had the south and east passage through Southern Pacific,
Right.
and then we had the Santa Fe north and
Mhm.
south,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of men that were out of work that passed through there. So if they wanted to go through the Southern California and up to San Francisco,
Mhm.
they would take Southern Pacific. And if they wanted to come to the New Mexico and Chicago area, they would take the Santa Fe.
Right.
So we had a lot of unemployed men that were
Mhm.
that would stop by in that
Right.
area, and many of them were homeless, and we used to call them hobos.
Mhm.
I understand that Father Valencia had a little program for them to feed them.
Mhm.
Is this true?
Yes, they used to have, they used to feed them every day. People would come up, all the whole, they get off the train, cross the street to the rectory, come all the way down here. We had showers for them, they take showers. We had towels, socks, anything they want to, they can do everything at the church up there. But the line was always 50, 100, 150.
A day?
Sí, every day les dan comida. They would give me out of the hall,
Uh-huh.
the pantry out there in the church.
Yeah.
They were getting food every day, bastantes. But then everything's died up. People will come over from Michigan, Minnesota. Hey, if you go by Colton, stop over there in Colton and stop by there, and they'll feed you.
Oh, so the word was out.
Oh yes.
The word was
A
out.
lot of
Father
people-
Valencia will feed you.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they'll take care of there. And you wanted to do something, Father Valencia? You want to work? Okay, do this and do that. Cut. Okay. And después a rato, when they get all done, he'll take them with by the sombrero and les daba que trabajo. Okay, corta de aquí, do this and do that. Y después okay, let's go to Lala's. Okay,
Lala's was.
the little market,
Uh-huh.
and then
Where was that located, Bishop?
right there in the court next to the to the church right there on 7th Street. What's his name?
Morales?
Morales, yeah.
Morales, okay, just
Chuchi,
half a block.
Chuchi.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
half a block. from-
Right,
7th
he'll
Street
go up
Market.
there and he'll feed them all. Okay, come on, le compraba bologna, loaf for bread, le daba comida.
So-
Everybody will get their food. and
So the
everything.
little store, Jesus Morales.
Yeah, and all the stores
store,
right there, yeah.
okay.
And he will have, Father had good points with all the stores, so le daban su comida and everything else.
Oh,
It was
big
good. And that's what they do, that's how all the people found out who we were, and they'll give them all the food.
And he provided this for the people that were, the hobos that were
Sí, yeah.
passing through.
Mhm.
What was the feeling of the parish for him doing something like that? How did they feel about it?
As far as I don't get to, I didn't know too much about them getting, but I think the people were happy he was feeding all of them,
Yeah,
you know. And he will make them work.
Yeah.
You just didn't get it, you know, just do that. You really had to work.
so you didn't get a free meal, you had to work for it.
Yeah, you work for it.
Yeah.
Okay, you good job. Even if you have to move that table to here, you move it, and then the same table, okay, now move it over there.
Yeah,
You go back and forth.
Yeah.
Así nada, like, okay, here's your money.
yeah.
Con little coin first, con sus nicles, ahí les pagaba todo.
And then he did have some parishioners help with the,
Oh, yeah.
giving the food
A
out.
lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they had a lot of people working at the kitchen.
Yeah.
Mucha gente.
And then I understand that Father Valencia loves sports. He loves sports. He's a wonderful, a terrific supporter of Colton High School.
Mm-hmm.
He would go to the football games, the basketball games,
Mhm.
and the baseball games.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I remember when I was going to high school, be playing, and Colton was playing another team at the Macintosh gym.
Uh-huh.
And I remember
There
we
was
watching-
basketball game then.
Yeah, basketball game. All of a sudden, you're the big old voice, and it was Father Valencia con little pirul. All right, boys, muévete. A whole bunch of 4 or 5 altar servers go to the things they done. Big lot